What's going on, guys? Angel here. Welcome to the Let's Talk About That podcast. Today, I have another guest with me. You guys know him as Coaster Daddy. I know him as Dale Lapp. But welcome to the podcast, man. How you been, man?
I've been pretty good. I've been off work for a little over a month now, so I've just been working on tons of videos.
You're the first person on the podcast to actually be kind of furloughed, I guess, of right now. Everyone else is working, including me. I've been working. So this is kind of like my second job. Like the first part of the week I work, and then the other half is meant for videos and whatnot. So yeah.
Okay, gotcha, nice.
But right. how's the quarantine been for you so far? I mean, what have you been up to?
I'm keeping decently busy. Just stuff around the house, and I've been working on tons of videos. I've been playing guitar a little bit more.
Oh, nice.
So that's about it. I mean, I've been watching a lot of The Office. So
wait, so I don't know. I don't think people know how old you are. How old are you, by the way?
25.
Okay, yeah, he's older than me. I'm only 20. So I mean, a lot of people think we're younger or something, but no, we're not. I'm not a teenager.
I feel like when it comes to the coaster community, I feel like. I mean, I'm not old, but I feel like I'm a little bit old compared to so many of the enthusiasts.
Mike is so old. Nobody knows how old Mike is. But every time Mike is way older than us guys. He's 30 something. So
yeah, he doesn't seem like it though.
Yeah, I mean he looks young and he's really energetic. So it's he's an extrovert. So but we'll talk. Today's agenda is we're gonna be talking about him a little bit. We're also going to be talking about some park news, including Indiana Beach. He's going to inform us on a couple of things about that. And we're just going to ask some questions and have fun, see where else the podcast goes. So I hope you guys enjoy. Okay, so I always ask people whenever they come on the podcast, especially if they're coasters or whatever they're into, what got you into coasters?
Well, my home park is Cedar Point. So
lucky you.
I started going there in the year 2000 when I was 4 or 5 years old.
Right when Millennium Force came. Nice.
Yeah. So the first time that I remember going there was when Millennium Force opened.
Oh, wow.
And at the time, Cedar Creek Mine Ride was my favorite ride. That's the only coaster I rode for a long time. But we had passes in 03, 05, 07. When we went in 2005, I started thinking about trying some of the bigger coasters out. I remember looking at Gemini and thinking that actually I would like to try something like that. But I didn't start with Gemini. I actually started getting into bigger rides with Blue Streak. Wow. I got on Blue Streak. I was terrified, but I loved it. It got me obsessed with coasters. I was and that was 2005. I would have been 10 years old at the time.
Oh my
So gosh. I got really into coasters after that. And I was fortunate enough to be able to visit Geauga Lake many times in 05 and 07. So dang. I was there in their last year.
Wow.
But I was into coasters for a few years from 05 to 08 probably. And I was in all the online forums. And in about 2016, I visited a couple parks during the time that I wasn't an enthusiast, but I started getting really back into coasters in probably 2016.
Oh, okay.
And I just started watching I found Coaster Studios first, of course.
Yeah.
And then I started watching Canada Coaster Fan and some other channels, and it just grew into another obsession with roller coasters. And I was so shocked coming back into the community because in the time that I wasn't an enthusiast, they built 3 more gigas. They built a launched wooden coaster.
Oh my
RMC came into existence. So it's just, there was so much. I was just in awe when I came back.
Yeah, so. I mean, I'd say right now this is probably the best time to really get into coasters. If you haven't gotten in already, it's what RMC is doing is pretty much revolutionary at this point. A single rail coaster, and then you got Vekoma with their new models. So it's crazy.
Yeah, I feel like they've just pushed the entire industry. They've forced them to innovate. All these companies who have just kind of been doing the same thing for years and years.
Yeah,
they're having to pull from RMC's playbook now.
Right, and RMC the inversions, is just taking them by everything. Storm. I mean, Intamin's even using the new outward bank turn.
Yeah.
For Pantheon. So I'm just that's crazy.
And even B&M in the slightest bit is taking a little bit of influence, with
true.
Candemonium.
I was just about to say Candemonium.
Yeah.
And
So.
plus Orion, they have like this
Oh
crazy
yeah,
turn thing. Yeah.
the wave turn type
Yeah, the way
element.
it
Yeah.
turned. So I'm interested to seeing. I mean, it's gonna be really cool. Like you said, it's just like RMC has changed it so much now. And it's just like it's gonna be nice to see this year. Hopefully we do get the ride stuff this year. But
Hopefully, yeah.
hopefully, like I really am interested in seeing like the elements on like Orion or Pantheon or something. So
I was supposed to ride Orion a couple weeks ago.
I think a lot of people were a lot
Yeah.
of everything got kinked. I remember
Yeah.
when Ace had like put out the letter, they were just like registration's closed, and it was like an hour later. Okay, so you had some information on Indiana Beach, if I'm right, and this was news to me. I saw like Costa Studios post something about it, but apparently they're gonna be opening this year. So just tell us about that.
Yeah. Well, to clarify, as far as opening, they hope to open this
They
year.
hope. Mhm.
Obviously, we don't know if that's going to happen,
Right.
but the new owner really wants to open it this year. But the owner's name is I have it pulled up here. It's
Okay.
this is from a site called News and Review, and they did an interview
Okay.
with him, and his name is Gene Staples. And
Gene
apparently he's
Staples.
a business guy from Chicago. And
Hmm.
if you go if you look it up, like they did
Yeah.
a pretty good size interview with him where they ask him a bunch of questions about what he wants to do with the park and everything. And it
Yeah.
seems like he's like really passionate
Hmm.
about turning it into a really nice Midwestern regional amusement park. It seems
Yeah.
like his heart's really in a good place, and I'm just so glad to hear that they're
Yeah.
opening back up. Um, so
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
they're
I
good.
didn't get a chance to go there either. Like, I never even knew about the park until everyone started talking about it was closing, and I was
Oh,
like,
really?
I never had heard of it. And everyone's talking about this ride, Cornball Express. I was like, what type of name is that? Like, but they were like, the ride's amazing. So I'm like, I'll definitely get up there if they open back up
Oh,
this
yeah.
year. I will try to get up there. It's far, but I mean, plane tickets are going to be cheap now. So
Yeah. And all those people who've been saying for years, oh, I thought about going to Indiana Beach, but I just decided not to. And now I'm so sad because didn't
right
get to go.
now,
When
go
they
now.
open back up, you guys better get
Everyone.
out there. Everybody needs to
Mhm.
go support them. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because like now it's just like I feel like that rumor, well, not the rumor mill starts, but it's just like everyone's just like, okay, I want to go too. It's like everyone's like, oh, it's so sad about what happened to Indian Beach. It's like, does anyone know actually what happened? It's like everyone just starts falling. So hopefully people
Yeah,
really do support them. I would definitely go out there if I get a chance to.
for
So
sure.
yeah.
Yeah. I definitely
Mhm.
will too, either this year or more likely
Yeah.
next year. But yeah, I'll
Yeah.
definitely get out there.
Now, I also know we had some news for Hersey Park. Also, this was from Hersey Fanatics. His Instagram. I'll leave it in the link in the description below for you guys. Also, the article. I'll leave that one for Indiana Beach. But basically, Hersey Park is going to be starting construction apparently May 1st now, as they just have
Okay.
changed the rules, stating that their state will be opening back up. Virginia is still closed, so I don't know what's going to happen with Pantheon and Kingsman, because I don't even know if the water slide or whatever is going to be built anymore. Coconut Shores, I think they had also stopped construction on that. But Candymodium, that area was huge. That's a huge expanse into the park. So what do you think about that? Like, when do you think it honestly will open up to?
Man, to be honest, that's something I've been trying to stay away from like speculating on when places are going to open.
Yeah,
Because honestly, nobody, I think
right.
probably even the parks don't really have a good idea of
Hmm.
when they're going to be able to open back up.
Yeah,
So, I mean, I kind of feel like by the time fall rolls around,
yeah.
that things should be decent enough to where parks
Hmm.
can kind of start to open back up.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I know like here in Ohio,
Hmm.
Governor DeWine has like issued a like 3-step
Yeah, that's how ours
process,
is.
yeah, to like
Hmm.
slowly reopen the
Yeah,
state back up.
without any
And
like cases of COVID. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know all the details for myself, but
Hmm.
I'm sure that like amusement parks and things like that will probably
Yeah.
be the last things to
Right,
open up, to
exactly.
be
I mean,
honest.
that's basically where everyone goes. A group of people literally go to an amusement park almost all the time.
Yeah,
It's usually a family. So you're basically
exactly.
asking for something to happen. And it's
Oh
like
yeah, absolutely. And
yeah,
as much as
go
I
ahead.
want to go to a park this year, honestly, I think maybe it would be better if things just didn't open back up, because it's
Mhm.
just going to be like if they do open back up
Right.
this year, it's going to be so screwed up. I mean,
I know
everything
you
is just
just
going to
did
be a
like a
mess.
video about like what will happen when it reopens, and I'm about to probably
Yeah.
do the same thing myself. It's just like people have to realize, like, now that this has happened, this widespread like event has happened, everything is going to change. Like the way all the stuff we do things,
Oh
amusement
yeah,
park, any entertainment aspect is going to change. So you guys have to realize, like, operations are more than likely going to be slowed down this whole entire year.
absolutely.
They're more than likely going to be cleaning the trains. We might even have to wear masks, for crying out loud, when we go to the
Yeah,
park. So I don't know. I know parks are trying to make money. It's like, obviously you want to make some amount of money. Hopefully they do open in June. Now, like fall, like you said, everyone's saying, though, what I keep hearing is that they keep saying it's supposed to spike back up in the fall, and I'm just like,
I've heard that
man.
too.
So I don't know how the Halloween events. I keep saying that in the videos. I'm just like, Halloween events are more than likely going to be canceled this year.
You know, honestly, if for Cedar Point, for example, if they do open up this year, I honestly just hope they forego Halloween and just like operate as normal for as much as they can.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather have them do that than try to like get all this Halloween stuff together. And
it's just
to
like,
me,
just
it's not really
operate,
worth
just
it.
operate. Like,
Yeah, just open up so we can have some fun, maybe.
Yeah,
if you're able to.
Same thing for like the Winterfest thing. It's just like, people are like, that's fall. We're talking about winter at this point. And it's like, just let it slide out. And I feel like everything in 2021, that's when stuff is going to finally start rolling back. But it won't even be till probably like spring or summer 2021 till we actually get to do stuff. And I know they're trying to get Hollywood Nights and whatnot together. I just am like, that's way too many people. I keep saying that. That's like too many people.
It really is.
As much as I love it, I would love to go, but I'm like, I kind of mad that I even paid the ticket now. I'm just like, man, I hope I get a refund, but if they do have it, I will go, because I'm not just going to give them free money, but I definitely will try to get there. So, okay. So I want to ask you, like, what is your most anticipated, 2020 coaster? What was it going to be probably?
Okay. I sound so wishy-washy every time somebody asks me this question, because this year I was supposed to be riding, hopefully, Jersey Devil Coaster, Pandemonium, and Orion. So if you're talking about the ones I was supposed to ride specifically, I would say Jersey Devil probably looks the best. But if we're talking about like all the coasters opening, I would say Iron Gwazi, definitely. So
me, I would say, like you said, Jersey Devil, I really want to ride a single rail, and that's the closest one that probably ever get to me as of right now. I mean, that's like
that's the closest
4 hours from me. So, and the next one is in Texas, and the other one's in Cali. So there's no way I'll get over there. Hopefully, though, I would probably say Pantheon and Iron Gwazi. Like, those are my main two.
Yeah, so. And Pantheon is a really strong contender for, in my opinion, too. I mean, with that ride, I'm just wondering, like,
it's so unique, like,
how intense is it going to be exactly? Like, I know it's going to be
70 miles going to feel on that coaster. Like, that's what I'm really interested.
Like, I'm pretty sure it's going to be pretty intense, but like, is it going to be like a Maverick level, or is it going to be a little scaled back? Or maybe it's even going to be more intense. Like, we just don't know.
Right. So. And like, that's why it's got my curiosity up. That's why I'm so excited for it. Plus it's like an hour and a half away from me. So I'm like,
it's so close.
I was planning on like all this month and whatnot. I was just going to be going there during the weekday and just getting walk-ons. That's what I thought. And now I'm interested in just seeing though, like, what it's going to be, because you got the Outward Bank turn, like we talked about earlier. And it's just like, I think about Volcano Speed, and it's by Intamin also, but we're sitting down a different way, but I'm wondering if it's going to be as intense as like the launch is going to be. So
that's what I'm curious about for sure.
Yeah.
Looks like a great ride though.
Iron Gwazi, I mean, they were testing that the next day. I know they were working really hard to get that before spring break.
They were booking it. Yeah.
It was like
props.
It was like, right. And like, now it's just like for nothing, but
and they teased us with a 1 second clip of the POV.
Yes, I saw it on Twitter. I was like, what?
It's like 1 second. It's like, really?
They did. It was like coming out of a barrel roll. It was just like, and stop. Like, you need to tell me you filmed the POV and everything. Like, they should at least release it just for the quarantine sake.
Yeah, and like, I want to see a real POV of Orion too.
We didn't even get the animated POV. Like, and same thing for Pantheon. There was no POV for that. Like, they never officially released it. It was just a leaked version.
Yeah, it's just like the recreations. Yeah.
So would you say like so far has been like the best park you've been to or your best experience at a park?
Okay. I would say my favorite park overall is Cedar Point.
Okay.
No bias, obviously.
Fanboy.
But I would say Cedar Point is still
Mhm.
my favorite park, probably. But I went to Dollywood in December,
Oh wow.
and that park really gave Cedar Point a
Hmm.
run for its money. I'll tell you
Man.
what, because Cedar Point has the amazing coaster collection. No
Yeah, it's
doubt the
that
best coaster
theming at
collection.
Dollywood though, man.
But the thing is, though, Cedar Point could do a lot of things better.
Right.
And Dollywood, they have a good coaster collection.
Hmm.
They have amazing theming, awesome atmosphere. Oh my gosh, don't get me started on their food. Their
I
food
was
was
just about to say
absolutely phenomenal.
I
Man,
asked another guy, he did like the Coaster Force. I was talking with a Coaster Force member and he was just
oh
telling
yeah.
me the food there is so good. Like he
Oh,
was
it
like
is
they had
amazing.
like these buffets, like home style buffets, and then the cinnamon bread
Yeah.
everyone raves about. So
Yes. Oh my gosh. I ate at a buffet there called
Mhm.
Miss Lillian Smokehouse.
Oh my
That is
gosh.
some of the best food I've ever had, hands down. And it was
Wow.
like $16.99 for an adult, which isn't
I
terrible,
mean,
you
yeah,
know.
that's like $1 more than what Cedar Fair charges regardless. So
Yeah, and it was so, oh my gosh, it was so good. So
mhm.
they have good food. The park's so clean. They
Oh
have
wow.
lots of shows, like
Yeah,
really good shows.
I'm supposed to go there this year because I really want to ride Lightning Rod and hopefully it's
Yeah.
open even when I go. But um I was supposed to go down there like when I went on my Carowinds trip, I was just gonna head over to Dollywood. I really want to go to that park. Same for Silver Dollar City, but
Yeah.
Silver Dollar City is a little bit far for me, so
Yeah, but going back to Dollywood, it's
mhm.
like I do want to say that they do, in my opinion, they do like everything there nearly perfectly. Like
Yeah.
I cannot say that for any other park I've been to. Like Dollywood does pretty much everything perfectly.
Wow.
And like it was just such a good experience there.
How are
I
operations there?
The operations were actually one thing where they could use a little bit of
Okay.
improvement maybe. I mean, they were good, don't get me wrong. They were good
Mhm.
operations. But there was like a couple weird instances like
Mhm.
in my Dollywood review I did recently, I talked
Oh yeah.
about this weird experience I had on Lightning Rod
Mhm.
where it was right towards the end of the night
Mhm.
and they had us loaded and like buckled in and like the restraints down and everything. We were ready to dispatch. They were about to
Mhm.
dispatch us. And there were these ride operators. This crew was just like standing there arguing like back
What?
and forth about reporting something to the maintenance team that had happened earlier in the day,
What in the
and they were
world?
debating on whether or not they should dispatch the train even
What?
though the ride had obviously been operating for like hours after this. But it's like I understand like maybe their concern if they had a
Yeah.
question about it, but they were just like standing out there in the opening just like yelling back and forth
What in the
about whether.
world?
So we're sitting ready to dispatch in the train
Mhm.
for probably at least a minute as they're arguing,
Mhm.
and we're just
Right. What is going
like could
on?
we
What you
just
doing?
go
Yeah.
like
Dispatch the train.
so there was like that, and there were like a few rides I had
Mhm.
where it seemed like maybe they could have been a little bit more on their
Yeah.
toes, I guess, as far as like
Mhm.
getting the train dispatched. But I'm not really complaining a whole lot. I mean, the operations were
Yeah.
still really good, to be honest.
Mhm.
So
I mean, so what would you say probably what park do you think has like the best operations that you've been to?
Cedar Point, no doubt.
Yeah.
Cedar
That's
Point
what people
has
say.
really,
It's fast.
but I got to give props to Carowinds and
Yes.
specifically
Fear
Fury 325.
yeah.
Oh my god. Dude,
Yeah.
they're just like bam
The
bam bam like
first time I went there, it was like
holy crap.
I got there for my birthday. It was my 18th birthday. Went there in like 2018. And what happened? Like so we get to the hotel. I was like my parents was like, "Do you still want to go?" Cuz like it was during scare ones and I was like, "Yeah, let me go really quick and get some quick wides." So I'm going to Fury. I'm like, "Man, this line is rolling, but it was a full queue and like we were just
Oh,
rolling through. I'm
okay.
just like, what is going on? And then I get up to the station. They're dispatching in like 30 to 45 seconds. It's
Yes.
crazy.
Every single time. And I mean, they're like the guy at the booth was like, okay, the gates are going to close in
Right.
5 seconds. You
Yes.
guys got to come through here.
Like
And
people
he's
are
like,
jogging to get in the seat. It's crazy. It's so
Yeah.
good though. Like I love that. Like,
I love it.
energy. It's so good.
And I'll tell you though, when I went, I mean, it was not busy. Like there was barely any people in line for Fury. It was pretty much a walk on every time.
Right, and they still rush it out. That's the best part.
They were still rushing it. And like, for example, I got like 7 rides on Copperhead Strike when I was there because there was like nobody there.
Yes,
but they were still booking it with the operations, especially on Fury. I mean, they're still yelling at people to get through those gates and to sit down and get their restraints down. I mean, they're on it.
They're on 100 like almost all the time. There's only like a couple of times where like we were in there for maybe a minute. But a minute, like, come on, like
that's not bad at all, though, you know.
And I'll say same thing for Copperhead. They were rolling with that. Like I remember one time, like they had the Area Soup there, and he was like looking at like time for their operations, and like they rolled out in like 45 seconds, like Fury. It was so good.
Yeah,
so,
Copperhead was doing great too. I mean, they're really on it. So
now
props to Carowinds.
Afterburn's like the only one where like they take their time with, but other than that, they did good. So. So, okay, you said like your best experience and whatnot. What about your worst? Or if you have one, what's your worst?
I never really have any specific one that I can think of when it comes to worst experience at a park. Let's see. I'm trying to think. Like, I really have not had any terrible.
I mean, that's good because some people. Like, I went to Six Flags America. I was like, I'm not going back for a long time now. So,
oh gosh, I do not look forward to going to that park whenever I get out there. It's not a priority for me.
If you're just going for the rides, which most people do, is just to get the credit and get out of there because everyone knows usually their operations are just like I don't know what they're doing at the park, but and it's so funny too because the workers, like I was there vlogging one day. And actually, it was. I was like a Six Flags day at Six Flags America. That was the title. And what happened? I'm vlogging, and they're just like, "Are you doing like a review of the park?" I was like, "Yeah." The worker literally said, "Oh, you already know how this park is." Like,
oh no. They said that?
Yes. He was just like, gosh. Bro, you already know it. You looking at the operations right now.
I'll have to go check that out. That's hilarious.
It was I just was like, I didn't even put it in the video because I just like, I can't.
Oh, man.
Crazy.
Well, I will say the worst time I probably did have, though, was when I went to Kennywood last year.
Oh, okay.
They're notorious for bad operations.
Really? Wow.
I love Kennywood. I love Kennywood. It's a great park. I love the park itself.
Yeah.
But the operations, they're terrible. Me and my brother got there to get in at opening time. They open the gates at like 10:30, but the rides start to open at 11. Like just gradually.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know. Yeah, that's to like get the
Yeah, but we're walking up to the park at 10:30, and we see no rides testing. I mean, there's nothing. They're not testing any of the rides, and we went straight to Steel Curtain right when we got in the gates, and we waited for like half an hour before we even saw one test train going. And a few minutes later, we see another test train. And then they finally open up the line after we're already waiting for like at least half an hour. And then we had to wait like almost another 2 hours after that.
What?
To get on that. Yeah, it was. And then like Phantom's Revenge and Thunderbolt, when we were in line for each one of those, like later in the around 3 o'clock or so, we waited in line for Phantom's Revenge. They finally decided to put a second train on it. And then we were waiting in line for Thunderbolt. And when we were in line for Thunderbolt, they also put a second train on that.
Oh my gosh.
And this is in July. This is a Sunday in July. And they only open the rides with one train.
Wow.
Like, what the heck?
So Kingston Mania was like notorious for doing this. Like, I don't know why they were doing this in like May. Like last year, it was just like put 2 trains on Intimidator. Like, why is there one train?
Yeah.
It makes like they wait to see if like the day is going to be packed, and then it's like, oh, okay, now
it doesn't make sense. Just put it on. It doesn't make any sense.
Like just keep the restraints locked for the second train and push it through.
You can start with 2, and if you don't need 2, you can take it off later. But most likely you're going to need it. So just Just put the
I've seen it only a
train
couple
on.
times. They do the same thing for Romeo Racing 75. It's just like, put two trains. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay. What about, have you been to the West yet for any parks or no?
No.
Okay.
No, not really. I've been to yeah, I haven't visited the West
Hmm.
Coast. I've been to mainly stuff around here. So I've been to
Okay.
Cedar Point, Carowinds, Kings Dominion,
Yeah.
Kennywood, Waldemere.
How was
Uh,
Phantom's Revenge though? Like, would you say
Phantom's
which
Revenge.
one? Steel Curtain or like Phantom's Revenge probably?
Phantom's Revenge is by far still the
Mm.
best coaster there, in my
Okay.
opinion. Even after Steel Curtain opened,
Mm-hmm.
Phantom's Revenge is an amazing ride. It's
Mm-hmm.
really intense, really underrated, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's in my top 10. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I have a ticket for like the park. I definitely want to go whenever they do open. Um I have to see because like I'll probably just go like one day during like the weekday or something, just so crowds aren't as
Yeah,
high. So
it's the best time to go. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I've seen what's crazy is like they don't have a big ride lineup, but like the park looks really like just classic, I guess. I don't know. It just looks like one of those older
Yeah,
theme parks.
they
So
have a good collection of like
mm,
really rare rides that you can't find anywhere else.
yeah.
Like they have the only Noah's Ark ride left in
Oh yeah, I
operation.
saw the little video.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they have a weird ride called a
Hmm.
kangaroo, which is like the only one in the world. They have
Yes,
one
I
of
know
those
what you're
old
talking about.
tumblebugs. They
Oh
have really
wow.
nice old rides. And actually, I was in a Kennywood commercial when I was like 10 years
What?
old. When I was in 5th grade, after I just gotten into coasters, my dad heard on the radio they were going to be shooting a Kennywood commercial in
Oh
Cleveland. So
my
he
gosh.
takes us up there, and we were in the commercial, and we actually got free tickets to go to
Wow.
Kennywood. So I
That's
went. That's
crazy.
when I went to Kennywood for the first time. It was
That's
pretty
so
awesome.
cool.
I'm gonna put that commercial up on my channel at some
I was
point so
going to
everybody
say I
can
got
watch
to
it.
see that. Like
Yeah,
I didn't even know like they did commercials like that back then. I mean, usually it was like Universal or someone doing that. So
yeah, they did. They
yeah.
played them around here. Yeah,
Did you
around the
plan on
Cleveland area.
did you plan on going to IAP this year or what?
No, I'm
Okay.
not like I've never thought about going
Hmm.
there or anything. It's not really something I was
Yeah.
ever really looking to go to.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be cool to go eventually,
Hmm.
but I don't plan on it. So,
What do you think on like the Jurassic well, it's at Universal I think, but the
mhm.
Jurassic Park coaster.
um, I've seen like a little bit of like the overhead
Hmm.
layout or whatever, and I've also seen some of the pictures of the track
Yeah.
at the site, and I'm really excited for it because it looks
Hmm.
like a really long ride,
Yeah.
and I think it's going to be pretty darn intense because it
Yeah.
has like the thick spine, like Intimidator
Oh wow.
305, how it has like
Oh,
the
like
double spine on it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, a lot
Oh
of the track
man.
has the double spine on it, so I think it's going to be a pretty intense ride.
I mean,
So
so I'd say like what's funny too is because Hagrid's when that came out, like I like that Universal's rides along, and I think one of the reasons obviously is because of how many people come into the park.
oh
But
yeah.
it's just like I feel like the theming for Jurassic Park is going to be so good for a coaster. I never even realized like a park or like a ride should be themed to Jurassic World. So it's going to be cool.
Yeah, I think it's going to be awesome.
Mhm.
Definitely.
Okay, guys. So we'll talk a little bit more after this quick break. Okay, guys, we are back. So we want to talk about your channel just a little bit. How did that all come to be?
Like I said earlier,
Mhm.
I got back into coasters by kind of like watching YouTube videos and stuff like that. So I started thinking about doing my own channel because I enjoy talking about roller coasters. And I thought about that for probably at least a year before I actually did it.
Oh wow.
But I think what really was sort of the catalyst for me to decide to do it
Hmm.
was in like July of 2018. I returned to Waldemere after I had
Oh,
been there
nice.
for at least like 6 years probably.
Hmm.
And I got to ride one of my all-time favorites again, Ravine Flyer 2. And so I decided to do a review of Ravine Flyer 2. And it's an awful video. The quality is absolutely terrible.
Was that your
But
first video?
my very first
Oh,
video,
okay. You kept
I
it
did a
on there.
reaction to it
Nice.
actually recently.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
but that's how I started my channel, and
Wow.
yeah, here we are now. I
I was
just
gonna say you have 2,000 subs now.
I can't believe it.
It's that's crazy because
And
like I literally saw your channel like you were at like I think 800 or something when I first saw your like thing, and after that like you're like past me, so that's good. Like you're doing good.
yeah, and your channel's awesome too. I mean,
Yeah,
I love your content, so
yeah. I mean, people
very
like
good.
it's like funny like other channels, it's just like other like I watch your stuff and like it's so weird. Have you had like anyone come like well when did you start it? Did you start it in 2018 like your channel?
My first video was uploaded on September 29th, 2018.
Okay, so yeah, I was about to say, have you had anyone come up to you at like at a park or something or no?
Um, I have not.
Okay.
I have not had anybody approach me like
Mm-hmm.
knowing who I was.
Yeah.
I have like gotten to. I've talked to several enthusiasts at the parks, and
Okay.
some of them have like checked out my channel and stuff like that. But I haven't had anybody like, oh my gosh, it's Coaster Daddy. I have not had that.
Okay, yeah, I've had it a couple of times. The reason why I asked like when you did it because I was just like, it probably was because your channel was like a little bit small. But I was about to say like this year if you go, someone's probably gonna be like, oh, you're what's his name? So
yeah, because I think there's quite a few people too that probably have like Cedar Point as their home park that watch me too. So you know.
I mean, when I go to Kings Dominion now, it's pretty ridiculous. I'm just like, that's one of the reasons why I'm just like, I'm gonna keep going to Busch Gardens now. It gets to be too much sometimes because I also know the workers and whatnot there. Like I went to school with a lot of them, and I used to actually work there. That was my first job, and that's kind of how the podcast started. If you guys didn't know,
nice.
Yeah, like when I hit 1,000 subs, I was like, okay, I'll start a podcast. Like I had already wanted to do it, but I was just like, I'll just make that as my milestone thing. And that was like the first video I did. I did like why I got fired from there. And yeah, you guys can check it out if you want to. If you haven't watched it yet,
wait, I got to check that out. I want to hear this.
I'll tell you just a snippet of the story now. So
okay,
basically, when I worked there, it was cool too. Like it was cool working there, but I was getting pretty much tired of it anyways at that point because I kept having to go work in Planet Snoopy. Like that wasn't even my area. That wasn't even my area, and I was running. So my ride was Flight of Fear. I was remember like we were in the meeting or whatever. And they were like, okay, so we're gonna assign people rides now where you're gonna be at, and they told me I was gonna be a Flight of Fear. I was like, yes, AC and everything in the summer. And it was sweet until because I was like younger and like I just started working there, they tried to get me and I ended up having to work. I ended up almost getting certified for every ride in the kids area. So they kept calling me on the phone, can you work this ride? Because people were calling out of work. I was like, but getting back to how like I got fired is basically when I was working there, I remember I was like, it would be so cool if somebody got to see the inside of like the dome. Because like I was just like, nobody's ever seen the inside. I was just like, let me film it. And I remember like one of the workers was just like, I don't think you're supposed to do that. And I was just like, no, it's all good. It's all good. I was going in like the restricted ride areas. Like, we could go in there. It's just like you're not supposed to be like filming there without like anyone there.
Okay.
And I was just like, well, I'm doing it because I really didn't care. I was just like, it's my first job. I was like, whatever happens, happens. And basically the video became pretty much I wouldn't say viral, but it gotten enough views to where people were starting to know about it. And
the like PR team caught it.
And yeah, exactly. And one of the main reasons they figured out who I was because my name is the same name it is now, Angelo Giles, and they were just like, "Oh, we know who this is."
That's that crazy coaster enthusiast who works at our park.
So basically, what ends up happening, they called me in the office, and they were like, "Hey, is this your thing?" And I was like, "Yeah." And the funniest thing to me is they were just like, we think it's awesome. Like, we think the video looks great, but you're not allowed to do this.
Technicality. They got you on a technicality.
Yeah. And, like, because I had already kind of signed the paperwork basically stating that I wasn't going to do that type of stuff anyways, it was just like, we're going to let you go. Because I act like I really didn't do it. And, like, I acted like nobody told me that I couldn't. And, like, they were like, "You're gone." And
they couldn't they couldn't just let you take down the video.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna take down the video. I knew I wasn't. If they had asked me, I was like, I'm not taking down the video.
Okay, so, well.
And what's crazy though is like the channel is doing great now. So shout out to you, Kings Dominion. Thank y'all for starting my career.
Well, at least it was done respectfully.
Oh
so
yeah, I
that's
didn't
good.
like. What's cool is that I still know the people there. Like I'm cool with a lot of people there, and like I'm pretty sure a lot of the PR team is still watching my content now. Like they know who I am, so it's not like they don't. They'll act like they don't know. Like I won't get invited to stuff. I don't mind that, and I don't really want to be at those event type of things because it's just too many people and it's just
Yeah.
too much stuff going on. So
Sometimes you just need to like enjoy time for
yeah, it's
yourself,
just
be
like
a little bit under the
mhm.
radar. And
Like
I
I'd
just
rather have it at the park. Like I'd rather just be at the park sometimes, where it's just like I don't need to be at the
absolutely,
event. I just want to. I don't want to be catered to. Just let me get my real experience of it. So,
definitely.
mhm.
And I just want to say like King's Dominion, I love that park.
Oh yeah,
It's a great I think it's
I
really
bash it
underrated.
all the time. But like I said, like me and Mike always say, it's just like we have a Giga and the RMC,
Yeah, it's
and we
so
almost had a top 3 with Volcano, but we
yes.
all know what happened. And you got the mug.
And let me tell you, okay, the King's Dominion PR team, since
Mhm.
you're watching this most likely, you guys need to get a launched B&M invert to
Oh
replace
my god.
Volcano. A launch B&M invert. I'll take a wing. I'll take a launch wing too. I'm fine with
40
that. So
free spins. 40.
but I love that park. I had an awesome time there.
Mhm.
I thought the operations were really good.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
It's a beautiful park. It's such a
Mhm.
beautiful park.
A
And I
lot of
think
yeah.
the coaster collection is really solid, in my
Mhm.
opinion. And I think Dominator's super
Oh
underrated.
yeah,
I
it's
loved it at
awesome.
Geauga Lake. I love
Yeah,
it now. It's an awesome ride.
a
So
lot of people tell me too. They're just like, usually when they don't, a lot of people don't get to ride Dominator, and like when they do ride it, they're just like, man, that was a really good floor. It's like they're like, that's like top 3 or like number 1 usually.
it's
And
really
it was
intense.
my number 1 until I rode Bizarro at Great Adventure. I was like, oh my gosh, this is really good.
Yeah, it's a
Um,
really intense ride.
I like it. I mean, it's still the longest floorless coaster in the world. So
Yeah, it's
we still
crazy.
hold a lot of records. We had a lot of prototype rides, although some of them are gone, but we did hold a lot of records at the park. The only
Yeah,
thing I really
absolutely.
wish they would work on is really just the entrance. I wish we had like the entrance like Carowinds
Oh
entrance. So
yes. Yeah,
mhm.
yeah. Kings Island and Kings Dominion could both
Yes,
really
like
use a
both
new
of them just
entrance.
need it. And like
Kings
because of the
Dominion
quarantine,
especially.
it's just like go ahead and just slide that little upgrade. That doesn't cost too much.
Yeah.
So
And it doesn't even have to be as
mhm.
grand as like
Right.
Carowinds. It could
Yeah.
just be like a nicer looking
Mhm.
entrance, just something really nice and open.
Some people tell me like they like the nostalgic look of it, but I'm just like, if you're gonna bring the whole Cedar Fair with
Yeah.
it, let's go ahead and Cedar Fair it up
Yeah.
then.
And
So
I think they will do that eventually.
mhm.
I think they will. They'll get around to it.
It would have to be, I'm guessing, whenever we get the actual big coaster that's supposed to come, not just the 40 free spin, but the
Yeah.
real one.
The real coaster.
Yeah. When we do get that, I have a feeling we might get like that upgrade. I don't know. They might do it then because it does.
Yeah,
I mean, we're long overdue for that. A lot of
definitely.
the other parks, like Worlds of Fun, looks really cool. I love their entrance with like the balloon. It looks cool.
Oh, I'm not sure what it looks like. I'll check it out.
Yeah, it's like I'm trying to think. It's like I guess they're called balloons, hot air balloons. Yeah, and
I know that's in their logo.
mhm. It looks really cool. Like the entrance is
Oh,
nice.
okay. Yeah, that's really nice looking.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it right now. That is
Oh, okay.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's
But
nice.
I really like how theirs is. I love Cedar Points and Carowinds because it just reminds you of like walking to a giant stadium.
Oh yeah, it
Um,
gets you so pumped up,
yes,
especially
like
Carowinds. Yeah,
yes. When I was there, I was just like, "Yo, I'm about to ride Fury," and like
it's
once I
amazing.
walk around this corner, I'm about to ride Fury. Like, holy moly!
Yep.
Other than that, though, like I said, the park it's a great park. Like we have a lot of things. Like we're just missing those key aspects to make it like a really top park in the Cedar Fair
Yeah,
chain. So,
and I know that
mhm.
Kings Dominion has lost a lot of rides
Oh
over the
yeah.
years, and they could
Mhm.
really use some new stuff. And I think
Mhm.
over the next 10 years, they're going to lose a couple more rides,
Oh yeah,
but
without a
I
doubt.
think that park is going to get treated very well. I think they're going to
Yeah.
really get some good stuff in the next like 10 years or so.
I feel like right now we're at like the turning point for Kingsman because it's either we're
Yeah.
going up or like we're gonna hit that where Valley
Yeah.
Fair or like Dorney really is at this
Yes.
point. So
They need to up their game though to compete
mhm.
with BGW. They really need to
Right.
do something.
And it's so crazy. I think one of the reasons is that they don't really know what to do really with the park because it's just like, okay, well this park has this, and then you have Six Flags America. It's like We're like
Yeah.
we're literally in the middle. So it's like they're trying to figure out what the right thing
So,
is. So
and those parks have a lot of things
mhm.
already that,
Like
they're not able
Finnegan's
to get.
Flyer, they got that. We could have got one of those, but they just got that. So we can't
Yeah.
just keep
Yeah.
copying. So are there any other parks that you'd say like need more help, or like what is a park like you think they should like upgrade in the chain?
As far as Cedar Fair, I think let's talk about Michigan's Adventure. I mean, look, I'm really happy that
Oh
they're
my
getting a
gosh.
kiddie area this year. At least they're getting something because they have not gotten anything. I mean,
Same for Valley Fair.
yeah,
Like,
and I understand, especially Michigan's Adventure because of the
mhm,
location,
right.
things like that. They feel like they're going to be hurting their own
Yeah.
business by putting something major in there, and I think the water park does really well for them.
Mhm.
And it looks like a nice park, but they need something.
Oh yeah.
Take
Like the
take
Raptor really
Wicked,
would fit perfect for them just because
yeah,
it's small, it doesn't cost a lot.
exactly.
It
And you know
boom,
what?
small.
Even Wicked Twister, take Wicked Twister
Hmm.
to Michigan's Adventure. It would be great at that park.
Yeah,
It's out
exactly.
of place at Cedar Point. It's not popular anymore.
Yeah.
Take it to Michigan's Adventure or Worlds of Fun, and they could really
Hmm.
use a new coaster. I think it'd be awesome for one of those parks.
Yeah. I
So
mean, like you said, it's just like it's so crazy because like what I love, I like that Cedar Point, like they give you these big things and whatnot, but it's just like the one thing a year. I just feel like that's not working. Obviously, now they're gonna have to do that a little bit more because of what's
yeah,
happened. But when the economy does get back up, I hope they go in the path that SeaWorld was doing, which was everybody gets something. Now, it doesn't have to be a coaster every year; it just has to be something like how Six Flags even does it. They just give you something. So,
yeah. It's
mhm,
better than nothing, especially
right.
for Michigan's Adventure and Valley Fair. They never get anything.
Because like I feel
So
for the people who actually like do like coasters and like are like can't get to like some other park or something near them because
yeah,
it's like you're just like it's like the same ride every time. You don't get tired of it, but it's just like you want something new. So,
exactly.
mhm,
And I think eventually, like even a park like Michigan's
yeah,
Adventure, they will get something. I mean, they can't just
yeah.
go forever. Like they're
Mhm.
gonna have to get something eventually.
Yeah.
So
Same thing for Valley Fair. Even it might be like a small. I mean, the coaster like Lightning Run at Kentucky Kingdom.
mm,
It's like just give them one of those.
yes,
That's solid.
they're so cheap.
What would you say your favorite manufacturer is, or
Um,
your top three? I
that's
guess. Yeah.
okay. Yeah, I was gonna say I can't really pick a
Yeah.
favorite manufacturer
Hmm.
because everyone does something different and
Yep.
they do different
Exactly.
things very well.
Hmm.
So I would say the best three. I'm gonna be really basic here. Um, Intamin, B&M, and RMC.
There we
Like
go.
they're just
I'm
they're
with you on
just
that
so
one.
good. I mean, well, Intamin's not really reliable,
Hmm.
but they make consistently very good world class rides. They're
Yeah.
just really good at what they do.
Hmm.
So
B&M is like basically that standard of like, okay, quality, reliable,
yeah,
and it fits a lot of people. So,
hmm
and the thing that's why so many people go with B&M. It's just like B&M has so many rides, and like there's like a B&M in almost every park just because of how reliable they are and how
they're so
easy it is.
reliable,
Mhm.
and there's only one defunct B&M coaster. Like
Yeah.
every single
Uh,
coaster,
Dueling Dragons, if
yeah,
y'all don't know. So,
everything else is still
mhm,
standing. There is one
right.
that's SB&O right now since
Mhm.
2016, which is in Kuwait. But other
Oh,
than
okay.
that, like B&M has such a good track record.
Yeah.
Like they just deliver
It's so
consistent
crazy.
quality.
Yeah. It's so crazy too because like you look at Intimate, it's like they make all the crazy thrill things, like they're so intense and whatnot. But Intimidator has had multiple problems. Volcano had
Yep.
multiple problems. It
All
had
all of the
problems even when it
Intamins,
first started.
all of the
And
Intamins at Cedar Point are always down.
yeah. Even
Yeah.
Millennium Force, it's just like all of them have their problems with
Yeah.
every day.
Yep.
I know. Well, RMC, we all know they usually have a horrible start, especially for Cedar Fair. Their start of the year
Oh,
was really
yeah.
bad.
Yes, it
Um,
was.
then you had Texas Giant incident like a long time ago, or New Texas Giant, and there's RMC. It's like, but then you don't hear really nothing else about it. So it's like
Right.
they're good. I think it's just like that first few months. It's like we're trying to work
Yep.
out sensors and everything. The only one
Exactly.
is
Yeah.
really Lightning Rod. So
Yeah. Yeah. And they've even ironed
Yeah.
those issues out quite a
Hmm.
bit. Like it was running pretty consistently
Yeah.
last year. So
Yeah, I mean, they had got rid of the front car,
yeah.
and that was a wild experience for those who got the experience.
And now they have like a
Mhm.
new front of the train on
Yeah,
there.
and it looks so.
It
Oh my,
it doesn't look as good as the
yeah.
other one, but it doesn't
The
look that great.
original was just like,
But
man, this thing looks sweet. Now it's just
yeah,
like a toy car or something.
but I'm okay with that. It
Mhm.
operates much better now, so
Right.
I'm
I'll
fine with that.
say, what is it? What would you say? Like, have you ridden any Gravity Group coasters yet, or no?
Yes, I've been on
Okay.
Ravine Flyer 2 and Voyage.
Oh, you got the right Voyage. Oh my gosh. Did you go to Hollywood?
2015,
Oh,
yeah.
okay, okay,
I have not been to any enthusiast
okay.
events. I was thinking about possibly
Hmm.
going to Hollywood Nights this year. That's not
Yeah.
going to happen now, but I'm probably not,
It's funny too,
even if
because
they have
like
it.
everyone was like going to Hollywood Nights, and like now it's so crazy. Like some people didn't buy the ticket. You're lucky. People are lucky who they didn't, because now you're just like trying to figure out, are they going to do it? When are they going to do it?
Yeah.
So,
And I was even supposed to be going on a
mhm.
vacation, a road trip in
Oh,
second week of
nice.
June, going to a bunch of Pennsylvania parks and to Six
Same.
Flags Great Adventure.
Yeah.
And you know, there were no like bookings that me and my friend made. We didn't book any like
Yeah.
rooms
Same.
or anything like that.
Mine
So
was.
I'm glad we didn't.
Mhm. Mine was like, I know where I want to go, but I'm just going to hold right now. And I'm glad that I held, because I would be out of a lot of money, or either trying to get refunds right now, like a lot of people
Yeah,
are. So it's
it'd just be a
crazy what's
mess.
happening. Okay, so talking about wooden coasters, what would you say is like, do you have a favorite one, or like at least like your top three?
Wooden coasters, you say?
Hmm.
Yeah, my favorite wooden coasters are Lightning Rod,
Okay.
Voyage, and Ravine Flyer 2.
Okay.
Yeah, all
Nice.
fantastic rides. I can't say enough about those rides. They're all
Mhm.
just absolutely amazing.
All right,
Yeah.
and what about steel top three?
My favorite steel are Steel Vengeance,
Oh
Fury 325, and Intimidator 305.
man, steel vengeance. Like,
Oh man, you're in for a treat, man. You're in for a
oh, I
treat.
want to go so bad. Like, I was gonna go for my birthday this year. Now I'm like, I'll just fly up there or something, because I know the plane tickets are all cheap. So I'm just like, I might
Yeah.
just go up there really fast and get it over with. Because I got, that's a lot of credits. I'm not gonna get them all
Oh
one
yeah.
day. Like, I'll probably just get a hotel or something. And
Yeah, I
yeah.
definitely recommend it.
Hmm.
And I'll tell you what, like with Steel Vengeance, I
Hmm.
know pretty much all RMCs, like you know what you're gonna get. They all
Yeah.
most of them feel pretty much the same.
Mhm.
But Steel Vengeance is just on a whole
That's what
nother
everyone
level. I
says,
mean,
man.
it's not even close. Like it's my number one, and it's not even close to be honest with you.
Oh my
Like it's
goodness.
just so much better than anything else I've experienced.
Man.
So
Yeah, like I think about every time I watch a POV, like they just released another one. I was like, it's not even in
yeah,
4K. It's
I
like, why
know.
did they release it?
They're releasing new POVs of
Yeah,
like every single coaster, and it's like, yeah, why did you redo Steel
right.
Vengeance? Like,
It's not, none of the POVs are in 4K. Like GoPro has like, they're at like 4K 60, almost 120 frames now. Put
oh
one.
yeah, yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I think they're just trying to give people content, I guess. But it's
probably,
like,
yeah,
because Millennium Force POV was old, but they've
it
redid
was.
they've redo them like every 2 years. So I don't know. All right, so for our last question, what would you say is like your worst experiences on a coaster? Like, what rides would you say is probably like the worst for you?
Um, well, the worst coaster that I've ridden is a love it or hate it kind of ride. It's
Oh, okay.
Nighthawk at Carowinds.
Oh
Oh
wow.
my
You
gosh, I cannot stand that ride. I rode it once, and I was like, never again.
oh my
Um,
goodness.
Awful. I had an awful experience on that ride.
My I wouldn't say, well, I don't think I've ever said like it was bad, but I will say we were on the brake run for I don't know how long, and it was just like our blood is just rushing to our head right now.
Yeah,
Like, what is
yeah,
good?
and if it's hot, you're just baking
Uh
in the
huh.
sun. At least they do have that brake run covered
Yeah.
a little
Mm-hmm.
bit, um, but yeah, when I rode it, I
Mm-hmm.
also didn't have a great experience waiting for it either,
Oh, okay.
because the line already takes a little longer because of
Yeah.
like the
Usually,
loading
when I see,
process.
as soon as I'm like, I look at that line, and if it's about to like a certain support, I'm like, I'm gone. So,
Yeah, well, when I entered the park, I decided to ride that first because it's right
okay.
there. And I waited
Mhm.
half hour, I think,
Oh man,
which
yeah, I've never
isn't
waited that
bad.
long for it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, and it would have been a lot shorter, but
Mhm.
somebody threw up on it, so they had to wash the train, cycle that one train empty a few
Yep.
times. So it was just kind of frustrating getting on it.
Yeah, I don't
And then
blame
the experience that I had on it, I was just like,
you.
I'm good. I'm not riding that ride again. I if anybody out there likes it, good for you, because I didn't enjoy it. And I
Me
have to give
personally,
an
what? Go ahead.
I was gonna say I have to give an honorable mention to both Mean Streak and Raging Wolf
Oh, you
Bob's
got
that
the
was
right
at
Mean
Geauga
Streak?
Lake.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
it was a long time ago. The last
Mhm.
time I rode it was probably like either 2007 or
Mhm.
I think 2009 was the last
Oh,
time I
okay.
rode it. But I couldn't stand that ride. It was
Oh
awful.
wow. Everyone says they were
Awful.
like it was trimmed up at like the end of its like time release. So
Oh my gosh.
yeah,
The trims, there was a trim on the first drop.
that's
And
what.
that's
Yeah.
just like, that just sets you up for a terrible ride. Why would you put
Oh my
a trim brake
gosh.
on the first drop? Like, come on, really? It
Oh
was awful.
my goodness. Okay. Well, I just want to say thank you so much for being on the podcast, man. It was great having you
Th-
on.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem.
Big fan of your channel.
He asked me on. I was like, sure. I forgot to ask you, and I was
Hey, no,
like, oh yeah. So
I just figured I'd put the offer
mhm.
out there because I don't have anything better to do right now.
I
So
don't. Yeah, I mean, now I have. Well, I've been had content because I was behind. Now I'm caught up now, and everyone keeps asking to be on it. So I'm glad that I was able to do it with you, though, man. Thank you once again. I
absolutely.
will leave all his stuff in the link description below, his channel and everything. We'll leave all like the blog and whatnot, all that in the description box below.
Awesome.
Also, I don't know, do you have any merch or what?
Yes, I
Okay,
just set
nice.
up a merch store very
Oh,
recently.
nice.
It's on Teespring. The link to
Same.
it is on all my social media and stuff like that on YouTube.
Okay.
But I have tons of stuff in there, so
Mhm.
definitely go check that out. There's a lot of stuff in there.
Also, mine's too. Nobody wants to buy it. It's okay. I understand. Ain't nobody got money right now, so it
Yeah,
is okay.
and I understand it, but
Hmm.
like I had all these people like, I want merch. Like the
Yeah,
reason
and
I
then
set
you
it up,
make the market no.
the reason I set it up in the first place was because all these people came forward saying, "Oh yeah, I want to buy merch. I want to buy merch. I want to buy merch." And then all of a sudden, when you set up the store, it's like everybody just
They
slowly
look at
backs away
they
like
look at the
this.
price. They're like, oh no 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 no
And
no.
I set up all the prices to like keep everything like as cheap
Yeah.
as possible
Mhm.
because I really wanted everybody to be able to get something.
Yeah.
So there are all kinds of like, there's really cheap like stickers and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
there's more pricey things too. But
Yeah, same. I mean, right now I try to keep the shirts at like no more than like $16 because
yeah,
I mean the shirt's nice. They're premium shirts, but it's just like I want y'all
I'm
to be able to pay for something. Like I don't want y'all to struggle to just get a like $20
exactly.
shirt. So
Yeah. And
mhm.
I'm waiting for my shirt to come in. I ordered one of my shirts, so we'll see how I like
Y'all
it.
guys can't get this one. I got this from like Visit Print. Like I made this one, but yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy the video. Remember to subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Enable post notifications to stay up to date with everything that's happening on the channel. Till next time, you guys. Peace out.